right? We could just do a podcast called Figuring Out Technology.
Yeah, and then just every episode is 4 hours long, and it's a new app we have to learn.
And it's the same lesson over and over again.
Yeah.
Like it's the same conversation, the same frustrations. Why do they hate us? Why is everything so hard? How did we get so old? Is this cancer? Why don't I have any money? Those are the same things over and over.
Well, I can tell you why we don't have any money.
Right. I mean, I know that.
Economic distribution of wealth is vastly inaccurate and disproportionate.
Oh, that's nice. I'm still on the I made poor choices. But you've moved on to blaming others. I like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've made a lot of poor choices, but I think that if you look at some evidence and some information, you can see that perhaps the current economic system isn't quite working the way it's supposed to work.
We're here at the sprint that isn't happening. All the teams are back in the paddock. Oscar Piastri's putting on a weird white vest.
Yeah,
maybe
I don't know.
It's a rain vest, an Australian rain vest.
Well, could it be a cooling vest? But if it's raining, it shouldn't be that hot.
Maybe they still get cool down there in Miami. Liam Lawson is. I mean, I don't care about the livery at all. That to me, that's like worrying about the costumes that the football or the hockey players wear. But
I'd like to know where the word livery comes from. Livery? It doesn't sound attractive.
Sounds like horses. Sounds like horses.
Livery.
That's a horse's thing.
It sounds like my liver is suffering from some hematosis. I've got livery.
Let's go to the Oxford English Dictionary, which of course I have bookmarked. Etymology. In the Black Book of 1483, it was laid down that each person should receive for his livery at night half a chet loaf, 1 quart of wine, 1 gallon of ale.
That makes no sense to me at all either. And it sounds like it's out of Lord of the Rings.
It's about food originally. Livery cupboards. Yeah. Special colors denoting a great person. Began to be used for both soldiers and civilian followers. The modern sense of the term began to form livery colors. The term also used to describe badges and buttons. The grandest of these is the livery collar. William Lord Hastings, the favorite of King Edward IV of England, had a collar of gold.
Wow. So it started off...
So it's a holdover from lords and ladies, but mostly lords.
Well, I mean, I guess a lot of our language comes from that era.
Going back to the poor choices, there's an example that I've begun to use. And it's you, and I never asked your permission.
It's me. I'm the poor choice. You go, if you want to know an example of poor choices, go check out David Milchard.
No, it's actually your argument. I'm for once backing up one of your inane arguments, and that is that it's other people's fault that you're doing poorly. And the example I use is that my friend Milkbags, former internet sensation, has, and I say 175 million views on his YouTube channel.
It's
probably a little less.
It's probably less, but if you included all social media channels, maybe, yeah.
But I am big in you because I love you. And I say he's got 175 million views on his YouTube channel and he can't afford his rent. Now, I know you can afford your rent, but I'm just telling a story and I'm compressing it because you're right. It doesn't seem fair that we have to work this hard just to survive, especially after being in the business for 87 years. You think you'd get to some level of seniority where it gets easier, but of course that's ridiculous. Who's off the track here in the rain?
Well, it was Charles Leclerc crashed in the outlap. He was on intermediate tires, went into the wall, high-speed corner.
He's frustrated.
He's angry. And
Ferrari is an Italian word for frustrated these days.
Yes, you're right. Look, you know that they're not a good team when the livery they chose for the Miami Grand Prix got released. Have you seen it?
The extra blue and white?
Yeah, it looks terrible. There was a time Ferrari's color was scarlet red, and all the logos that were on the car were small, like they weren't necessarily huge until they got Marlboro, which actually blended in quite nicely with where they put it. Now they just splatter it. Like no one went, and everyone should have just been up in arms. You can't just put that blue on that red car; it wrecks it. Now the car's crashed because of that livery choice.
Again, I couldn't care less about the costumes they wear. They could be driving Toyota Yaris's in rainbow colors. If that was the fastest car, I would. Hey. If that was the fastest car, or they could be running. What about a run in the rain? The focus on the livery and the changing of the livery, isn't that just more to get girls interested in the sport?
Well, it's marketing, JB. I think marketing 101. Get people, get eyes on your brand. However you get eyes on your brand. I mean, that's what I do. That's why when I go to the beach, I take my shirt off.
Well, that'll do.
Eyes on the brand.
Sliced and diced.
Right?
Yeah, you could cut carrots on those ab muscles.
It's ridiculous. Grate some cheese.
Yeah. Just to play the contrarian, in the 60s, the Ferraris were blue and white. I saw today.
Oh, really?
Earlier on a screen. Yeah. They were completely blue and white. There was no red at all. Yeah, it was like 1967 or something like that.
I'm going to look that up. I'm going to look that up. Not right now because no one needs to watch me look things
I know that you wouldn't believe me, but that's a weird lie to tell. Don't you think?
Well,
1960. Oh, let me just come up with a lie about the 1960s Ferrari. I saw it on F1 TV. I didn't. I don't do any deep dives. I don't research anything. But I swear I saw a Ferrari. He said the guy said an American. I think it was Tech Talk. Do you ever watch that? You got to get F1 TV. It's really good.
How much is it?
Tech. Well, you're paying half of it. $13 a month. Well, if you ever pay your bill to me, then you'll be paying half of it. The other day, I was reminded of us because I was listening to WTF with Mark Maron, and he was talking to the actor David Harbour.
Yes.
You know him from Stranger Things?
Yeah.
And the two of them, Mark just makes David laugh the whole time. They're the balloons. The two of them laugh. They do that snagglepuss laugh that we do, that I think all men of a certain age do, where it sounds like you're gasping for life.
That one?
No, this. It's like Snagglepuss from that cartoon in the 70s.
I got to see Mark Maron dropped in down at Jokes Please here in Vancouver and did a set.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, it was great. So good. Yeah. And then he also dropped down at the Underground Comedy Club in Vancouver here as well.
That's so nice that you saw that. His tickets are so expensive. I was going to go when he comes in Toronto, but the 7:30 show was sold out, and the 9:30 show, which is, I've been in bed for an hour at 9:30, let alone going out. They were like $100, and I'd be half asleep anyway.
That's not bad. $100.
Is that not bad?
I mean, compared to a lot of other events that I've been going to lately, like you're spending, usually close to 200, even for stand up. Like Sebastian, I can never say his last name, Manisquallo.
The Italian guy.
We saw him at QE, and he was almost 200, and then he's now at the Rogers Arena, and now he's like $300 a ticket.
That's insane. I mean, make hay while the sun shines, but who the fuck has all this money?
I don't know, and I also don't know. Like, I remember Steve Martin saying back when he was the first person to start doing stadiums, he realized that really it wasn't the right venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Steve Martin's the guy who quits stand up at the top of his game because he's, the integrity is no longer intact. Like, there's only one Steve Martin who can go and be a playwright and be successful, be an actor and be successful, be an art collector and make millions off of that. I mean, it's
easy incredible to be jealous of him. movie star, screenwriter, sells
Yeah.
books. Yeah, it's a bit much. And then also very humble.
Yeah, I'm really bummed out now. An honorary Canadian.
Is he?
Well, he's honorary because he was a guest curator at the Art Gallery of Ontario.
We got a thumbs down on that.
And yet my thumb over here was doing this.
And now it's a thumbs up.
And it aired on the side of thumbs down. Anyways, he's done that. He collects Group of Seven art. He's a Group of Seven expert. And of course he's married to Martin Short, so that makes him
for certainly Canadian. For certainly Canadian?
For certainly. What's happening with the race? Anything?
Nothing. No, this is why Formula One is sometimes terrible, because I would argue race, no matter what the conditions are, you're paid a lot of money. It's a gladiator sport. Let's see what happens.
Look at his balaclava technique. Yuki puts it on. He scrolls his forehead 4 times with it before he gets it just right. They're all getting back into their cars now. Welcome to the F1 Chatpod watch along for the 2025 Miami Sprint.
So far, the watch along has consisted of a stopped race.
I think this is my favorite type of watch along, where we get to yammer on to no one and nothing happens. Although, what was the last race? I can't remember.
Well, okay,
where it was. It was good. Last race was fun.
Very good. Let's do a quick review. A lot has happened in the last 4 races. Oscar, I won't review everything. I'm just going to give my summary of like the drivers and the overall season's entertainment. 2 of the races have been quite boring. No passing. That's nothing going on.
Japan and China.
Just like, what's going on?
Is that right? Boring. Are those the 2? Those are the 2 boring ones?
China would maybe be a little bit. I mean, technically, you could say there were 3 boring races. Probably 3.
Go ahead and name them.
Bahrain was great. There was lots of passing in Bahrain.
Yeah.
And
look at these dipshits. There's a camera, and people lose their mind. Look, she's crying.
What?
Because there's a camera.
No, she's crying because she sat on something sharp.
Okay, keep going with the. So, what were the boring races? What were the exciting?
Well,
name them.
The only exciting race really was Bahrain.
Right.
Japan is a great track because it's a great track, but there was no passing. China is a fun track, but again, it was the racing was okay. And then Jeddah, the track is, in my opinion, completely boring. It's a boring racetrack. It's like there's nothing about that track that's any good. It's just
that last race was interesting, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
It was fun.
Oscar just took off and won the race.
Oh,
and the only reason why it was interesting was because Norris made another error in qualifying, put it in the wall. So he had to come back from test. You got to watch if Norris could make it through. That was all it was. And then you had the controversy, the typical Verstappen, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to make the stewards decide bull crap that he always does.
He should have given the place back. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, he should have given. If he would have given it back right away,
if it was any other racer, yeah, they would have done that. But they're afraid of Max. Everybody's afraid of Max. Everyone except for maybe Oscar.
Yeah, well, I mean, Oscar is proving to be quite the competitor. So I would say Oscar is doing what most people were saying. He's going to become probably a world champion very soon, if not this year. And Lando, I think, you wanted to help Danny Rick out. I think you might want to get on the phone with Lando.
I know. Lando did not do the work in the off season, and he should have. And I know that he has a sports psychologist, so I just can't figure out why they haven't gotten through to him. I mean, the first words out of his mouth after the break was, when asked, "Are you ready to get back to racing?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, my break didn't feel long enough. Could have gone on for a couple more weeks." And I was just like, no, don't lead with that. You can think that. You can feel that. Don't fucking say it out loud.
Yeah, I like Lando.
He doesn't have the, he doesn't, he's still in his own way, you know? He
Yeah.
doesn't have to become more Oscar. He certainly can't become more Max. When you hear people say, oh, he's got to take a page out of Max's book, don't ever. You just got to get out of your own way. It's a simple thing that's hard to do, but you should be, you know, with gazillions of dollars on the line. The time is now. The time was
apparently he
last
stopped
year.
drinking.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess
That's good.
I mean,
there has to be professionals attending to this issue. I just can't figure out
100%.
why he's still talking the way he is after a race. There's Bottas. Bottas will be back in F1 next year.
It'd be amazing.
Don't you think?
Well, I hope he goes to Cadillac.
Wouldn't that be nice?
He's a great driver, and he's a good spirit.
He's a great driver. He's a great leader. He's turned into a real mentor to Kimi. And now look at him. When Kimi gets a result like this, hey, and there's a picture of the fastest Aston Martin on the track.
Yeah. Look at that. It's another SUV.
If only
like, why is the safety car an SUV? This is the problem with Formula One. It should be a sports race car, not a stupid SUV. Like, what are they doing?
But they've got to fit two old codgers in there so they can get there. I mean, it's all part of the branding. They put a driver in there. They put a who wants to pay for the second seat, I wonder, I ask. And it's all part of the client care.
Yeah.
Look, who drove off?
No, that's just a
Hulkenberg drove off. Is K-Mag back? K-Mags drove into the pond.
Okay, you idiot.
I was trying to make jokes.
The other thing, did you see that Russell congratulated Kimi Antonelli for getting pole? Waited when the car pulled up and pulled into the top 3 spots after qualifying, and he was there, came over, patted him on the head, and said, "Way to go." Would Max Verstappen ever do that? How does anyone cheer for this guy? How does anyone cheer for him?
I don't know. It's hard, although we'll miss him when he's gone.
Well, he certainly gives us a lot to talk about.
And he's not going to stop complaining when he stops winning. So just imagine the day when Max isn't winning, but still complaining.
Yeah.
I mean, then you can really hate him.
Yeah.
Now at least we get to watch him do amazing things with this car. I was watching some Tech Talk today, as I think I mentioned, and this former technical director was talking about how that Red Bull car is on the ragged edge. Mm-hmm. And how Max, because of who he is, he can drive that car. Mm-hmm. And he said it way better than me. I wish you could watch F1 TV. But he said that's why other drivers with less experience can't manage that car, because it is he described it as like an unfriendly car or something where aerodynamically it was inconsistent, but it matters less to a Max than to somebody else who, when everything is going in the right direction and everything feels great, then they can. And maybe that's the difference between Lando and Oscar.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily the difference between Lando and Oscar, because I think that, like, when I've been watching Formula One for a long time, and there's no denying, pardon me, that Max is clearly an exceptional race car driver. So I think that he's one of those drivers that has the ability to drive around the weaknesses of cars. And that's why Japan was unbelievable. That's why Jeddah was unbelievable. Like, both those poles were like, he got the setup right. And also he has that experience to be like, you know what? No, let's keep putting the car this way. Let's make it go this way, this way, this way. Gets it way. And then he goes, now I know I can understand to drive it in this manner on this track with this setup. And that's why he's really amazing. I think what's happening in McLaren is I think the car has just got some certain attributes that maybe Oscar doesn't find as difficult to manage. Whereas for Lando, it's like, because Jenson Button was a great example of this. Jenson Button was known as like the smoothest driver in F1 for whatever years. He was like an Alain Prost or whatever. Where when the car was hooked up correctly, fast, like just like unbelievably unbelievably fast, unbelievably consistent. But when the car wasn't quite right, Jensen didn't have that skill, as far as I've understood when I read about it, is that he didn't have that ability to drive around it. Fernando Alonso
Right.
can drive around it.
Right.
Max Verstappen could. Ayrton Senna could. Lewis Hamilton
If you stunt
used
cast,
to be able to.
if you stunt cast, let's get back to Lewis Hamilton. If you stunt cast, if you put Fernando Alonso into take your pick, a Mercedes, for instance. What do you think the last few years of his career would have been like if he weren't?
Alonso would have won more races easily.
He would have won more races. How many? Like 3 more? 2
I'm going to say 10 more.
10 more.
Yeah.
So he's been really underutilized in that car. Like he's way better than that car.
Yeah, because I think if he was in the Mercedes, he probably would have won 2 or 3 races in the last. I actually think he probably. I think because he is the type of driver that seems to be able to drive around an issue. I actually think he probably would have won more races than Lewis and Russell in that.
Now that's a hot take. That's why you get paid the big bucks. So speaking of people that can drive around a car, and speaking of Fernando's commitment, right now Lewis is his commitment's being tested. This is the mark of a world champ. Can he drive his way? Can he keep his spirits up, his confidence up, his will up enough to get through the grind that is an F1 season when this car keeps betraying him?
I think the only motivation is, and he will never say it, is he wants to win a world championship with Ferrari, and he wants to have 8. That's what he wants. And he will never say that, but he wants an 8th world championship. Mm-hmm. He was robbed. He should have had it.
Talk about that. When was he robbed and who robbed him?
You know this. It was back in
I don't.
Yes, you know, in 2021 when Max Verstappen won his first one.
Well, keep talking. I can't remember. I can't remember the last race.
It was the false safety car. I shouldn't say false. It was a real safety car, but the rules were molested and incorrectly applied by the F1 Formula One steward, and it was a joke. It never should have happened.
What race was that?
That was the Abu Dhabi Grand. Was it the Abu Dhabi? Yeah, it was the Abu. Yeah, it was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Take us through what happened.
There was an accident. There was a yellow car. It was first and second. Lewis Hamilton was pulling away. Had a good lead. Max was in second place. There was a safety car. Max pitted because they couldn't take the risk of. You're not on the camera.
Oh.
Hi, darling.
Hi, Pearl.
How you doing,
going
Pearl?
live on the internet.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, the internet. Tell me all about it.
What's he saying?
He's asking you what the internet's all about. What do you know about the internet?
Oh my God. I know that it starts with an I and ends with a T. That's all I know. I gotta go bake some cinnamon buns. Bye.
Is she really baking cinnamon buns?
No, she doesn't know how to bake.
So where were you?
So Max Verstappen, because he was in second place and Lewis was in first, had the advantage of to pit or not to pit. Because if Lewis would have pitted, Max might have would have stayed out. Max pitted. What happens is where you come out in the race is where actually technically what happened was the cars all have to get realigned, and it takes usually a couple laps for that to happen. And had that happened, the race would have finished under a safety car. But what the race director did was he just let Max Verstappen pass a bunch of cars and then be in second place and then started the race right away, which is totally insane.
And why do you think he did that?
Because he was paid off. It was probably the biggest bribe there ever was. It makes no sense why he did it.
And how did they work it? So, did they arrange the payoff before the race? That would have had to have happened before the race. How did they know to get a safety car in at the last second to make that all happen?
Well, I mean, there are certain things that are predictable in Formula One, and you can go, okay, if this was to happen, you could do this. If this was to happen, you could do this. And if this was to
I
happen, you could do
see.
this. And so he probably had, now, I mean, that's quite the conspiracy theory, but it makes what he did makes absolute zero sense. So I think the only thing that's driving Hamilton is to win an 8th championship.
Let's do a deep dive of that on a future episode. And it would be...
It's been deep dived enough, JB. Nobody cares anymore. You know what people care about right now? Kimi Antonelli, 18 years old. He's going to be not only a great race car driver, but he seems incredibly likable.
Max Verstappen, Abu Dhabi 2023?
No, 2021. Here we go. The race is about to start here.
Great.
My prediction is there'll be another red flag within 3 laps. Sprint races should be removed from the calendar. There should be mandatory testing.
Sprint races should be removed. I had a thought this morning. Sprint racing, is this not the FIA's or I don't know who's in charge, the Liberty Medias or F1's?
Okay, here we go. You got to shut up now. 1 second. This is the most important part now. It's the most important part. So just watch, because it's the only thing that's exciting in Formula One. Okay, we got a good start from
Do they have a formation lap?
No, it was a standing start. Lewis is back there. Okay, Antonelli got shoved off the track by Piastri or outbraked himself. Not sure what happened, and now Antonelli is screwed up, and everyone's going to say he's no good, and that was a big mistake. Okay.
Oh, you're ahead of me a few seconds.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. I forgot you're ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And now Antonelli is...
he's in 4th.
4th. Piastri's the new race leader.
But here's a great challenge: is if Antonelli can calm down and make up from that mistake, he'll be great. He pushed me off the track, says Antonelli. I knew it. They're all the same.
No, they're not.
They are.
No,
they're all the same.
No.
Oh, he pushed me. He touched me.
Well, yes, but Max is way worse. He's not the same.
Max is definitely worse.
Has Sprint become an anti-parity measure? Is a Sprint there so we get more names? Like, is a pattern more names and more brand time on screen? Like, is it an advertising move?
No. The harsh reality is it's because Formula One is actually pretty boring. That's the problem. And so they need to come up with devices to make it not so boring. So if they have another race, there's another potential race winner. There could be more accidents, whatever. There could be more passing. It's just, it's literally entertainment. Like in the old days, this is what was amazing about Formula One was there wasn't these 3 levels of qualifying that there are now, which is actually an improvement. It truly is. But in the old days, it was like you go out and you get 1 lap to be the fastest. 1 lap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you don't get all these laps to get good at. Okay, now I know I can get my car. But it was like when you go out and and there was no runoff. And if there was,
what's a runoff?
Like when the cars go off, they could go into gravel and they'd be up. Like
there's just a wall or people that you would hit.
Yeah. The only thing redeeming about a street circuit is that if you do make a mistake, you're probably out of the race, which is the only
because you're going to hit a building.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It
looks like Oscar's going to win this race. So just so you know, this is how unless there's an accident, almost nothing's going to change.
Right.
Almost, or if rain comes, maybe that changes. But if no rain comes, there will be basically no changes. Maybe 1 or 2. Oscar and Norris will finish 1, 2. Verstappen, it'll just finish like this. It'll be boring.
So a sprint, there isn't a pattern. That we get these outliers like Lewis, who won in China, and Antonelli, who got pole in Miami. There isn't a pattern developing in sprints to bring other names to the fore, to recognize, to increase brand dollars across the field.
I don't think there's enough variety. I mean, the only reason Lewis won that sprint race is because no one could pass.
Right.
Like, I love Formula One, but it really is like, no matter what anyone says, there's, as I say this, Carlos Sainz is making a pass. There's not enough passing in Formula One. And And
why do you like Formula One? Is it just a habit now?
I think I like it the most because it's a soap opera. All this money, all these egos, all this drama. It's a Shark Tank. I think that's what. So I enjoy when. I guess really what I enjoy is when there's some controversy, and that's probably why I will be sad when Max retires.
I liked how you said soap opera.
Soap opera.
Soap opera.
A soap opera.
So maybe there's business idea. Maybe we need the problem with Drive to Survive is it's always a year late.
Yep.
And whenever I watch it, because I watch the races, I'm like, I know how this ends. Oh, this is entirely manufactured. This went nowhere in real time. So we need the soap all year long. If the races are boring, we need more people digging up the stories. Whereas right now, race journalism, it seems, is mostly negatively impacted by people worried to tell the truth for fear of them losing their credentials.
Well, and this is where live commentary on YouTube or something, but then you get into copyright issues and stuff like that. But this is where social media can actually have a lot more fun with sporting events. Because if you're on NBC or ABC or ESPN, they're not going to really dig it if you're like sort of really cold-heartedly sharing an opinion. Now, of course, don't be racist, don't be offensive, don't be like, unnecessarily rude or something like that. So I get that.
Hold on.
But opinions.
Don't be
racist. Write it down.
Racist.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Next.
Okay. I'm not sure if you're supporting me or just making fun of me right now.
I don't know. I'm riffing, man. I'm jamming.
Okay. I like a good jam. So tasty. So I think like Damon Hill being, Johnny Herbert being, all these commentators that used to be on Sky F1 are gone because they kind of had strong opinions. They're gone now. And now you've got this bland reporting. Sky is boring now. Sky is
most of the podcasts are boring. I was going to ask you about the smile, the Alex Jakes of the world and the Tom Clarksons of the world, who are just so happy to be here.
Right.
And so with that wry smile, everything, and you know that as race fans, they want to be really talking honestly, but as fathers, they got bills to pay.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna.
No.
So it ends up with this, like, I don't know. You can just let it wash over you half
like
the time
room
because
temperature
there's nothing
milk.
going on. Yeah.
Who
It's
likes
very
room temperature milk? Nobody.
Not me. I like my milk ice cold and filled with sharks.
Well, you'd like Peter Windsor. You should watch Peter Windsor.
Peter Windsor, is he the baldy on YouTube?
Yeah, and he got his credentials were removed. He's not allowed to go to the F1 paddock or something and ask questions.
Yeah, that's what I like. And why did that happen?
Because he would ask actually good questions and raise good points, and that's why.
I'm gonna follow him right now.
He's great. Like he does not. Oh, it looks like Max Verstappen.
Oh, I'm already subscribed.
Oh, it looks like Max Verstappen is. Oh,
hold on, slow it down. Let me watch. You'll
see.
Max Verstappen. You mean he pulled a Lando? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. He pulled a Lando.
But no further investigation. But he is out of position.
No. If he started, there'll be a 5-second penalty or something.
Or maybe because it's Max, they'll make it a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, they'll be like,
because they're afraid.
We don't want to get Max upset.
They're afraid his dad will come and kneecap somebody.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's turning into a typical sprint where nothing actually happens. So good job, Formula One. Like, why even have it? It's just so dumb.
I mean, if it allows other racers to get pole,
it doesn't.
Well, it did. It allowed Antonelli to get pole. It
Yeah,
allowed,
but Antonelli could have got that pole in a normal race.
but
he
he
could have.
hasn't yet.
No, but he could
So
have.
it's all theory.
No,
So right
JB,
now
I'll tell you right now, you're wrong.
Okay.
No, you're wrong.
I'm sorry. I
Because
apologize.
getting pole in a sprint is no different than getting pole in a race. It's not because it was a sprint that's why he got the pole.
Well, how come it isn't different? Happens on a different
The
day.
only thing
It
that's
happens.
different about the weather's different, but the only thing that's different about a sprint race is that it's only 19, or in this case 18 laps. So there's even less opportunity for passing, and there's no pit stops. Now, people might make a pit stop, but that's almost pointless because you'll be at the back of the grid and you'll never catch up. Sprint racing is dumb.
Let's
so
talk
dumb.
about why you're having these emotions
Go
when
ahead.
I make suggestions.
Go ahead.
No, let's talk about. That's an
Go
invitation
ahead.
for
Yeah,
you to
I
talk
have to talk.
about.
No, you can
Yeah.
ask me a question.
Well, why are you so angry?
Because I
around
know more than you.
sprints?
I know more than you, and I know more than these Formula One business operators.
Yeah.
Here's a good idea.
You're a natural leader.
Totally. Here's what they could do. There's all these countries that want an F1 race,
Mhm.
right? And there's just, you can't have every country having a race. You can't do it. It's impossible. So what you do is 2 years in advance, you have a poll, and there's going to be every year there's a race or two that gets voted in by the fans.
No.
And the fans decide which tracks get in. Yes.
No. You know why that's a terrible idea? Is
Yeah.
that you're leaving it up to fans. And what's dumber? Direct democracy doesn't work. It votes in despots and fascists.
Okay.
You can't leave it up to the people. We've already talked about this with
No,
the
I'm going to talk to
icebreaker.
you. I'm going to talk to you right
Remember
now.
the icebreaker?
No, I don't remember the icebreaker.
There was they had a icebreaker with a weird name. They had a contest to name a Canadian icebreaker, and the winner is 30 hilarious icebreakers to get your team laughing out loud. That's not what I mean.
Oh, you're such an idiot.
Icebreaker.
Can I counteract your point right away so we don't waste any more time?
Okay.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Hey, maybe, in general, people don't know what they're talking about, and you might be correct. However, when you start talking about sports fans and you start talking about their level of commitment and fandom about sports, I would suggest that you're probably actually going to get some really great insight from Formula One fans, or in this matter, NFL fans, because NFL fans are rabid. Yes, there's going to be a bunch of fans that are couch potatoes, but usually the fans that really have something to say will get involved and say something. So that's my take. So that's why I think if you were to do something like that with Formula One or NFL, you would actually probably find and get stuff that'll improve the show. Because right now, the sprint race is 10 laps in. Maybe Russell's going to pass Antonelli. Let's see what happens.
In 2016, the government of Great Britain held a contest to name a research ship, and guess which name won? Guess which was the most popular? Bodie McBoatface.
Okay, I mean that's pretty.
That's
funny.
what happens with direct democracy. When you leave it up to the crowds.
Yeah, that's not bad. I like it. I would have.
And then they had to go and say, sorry, we're pulling the contest. That didn't go the way we wanted it to. We're naming it the Sir David Attenborough because obviously we can't call it Bodie McBoatface.
You could call it Bodie McBoatface.
You're going to get a race voted on by wherever you could find out the numbers right now of who would want the race. It's up to that local government. Do they want to put out
how many beaches?
Do they want to put out all that money? Like a lot of times cities will say no to the Olympics because it's so hard to pull off and they're on the hook for so much money.
They should say no to the Olympics.
Well, F1 is F1 less corrupt?
Is F1 less corrupt
than the Olympics?
Yes. Yeah, maybe I'll give you an answer. You ask me another question.
This?
Give me another question. I'll answer it.
Okay. I've got another one here because I did some homework. What's a flying lap?
a flying lap. It's a flying lap is when they're. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I don't know what the answer to that is.
Okay.
I love that
You love me.
most of the time I'm dumb. Most of the time.
A lot of action around corners 14 or 15. In practice, the cars were having a hard time getting around that corner without going off into the whatever the humps are called, where the paint is. Is that stuff in practice? Is it ever indicative of something that's going to happen in the race proper?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Because someone's come in. Sonoda's coming in for slicks. This will be interesting.
Well, at least somebody's taking a risk.
Yeah, this could be a red flag though. This will be, and then that'll prove my point about sprints. God, I hope it's another red flag. And then there's like 4 laps left, and they're like, "Well, what do we do? Do we start the race again?" Well, we might as well, but it won't change anything, so we should just end it. That's what'll happen. But they won't.
So indicative practice or quali. How do teams use what happens in practice or quali, as far as like race?
Well, what they do is they're gathering obviously information about like how to set up the car, what tire pressures they need to have, how much downforce they need to have, and when something like this happens with the rain, that information kind of goes out the window, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, right.
So I think like when you see a certain set of corners causing difficulty in practice, or maybe some accidents or people going off, yeah, that means there could be a huge accident at that corner in the race, because clearly the cars in their current state of setup or technology maybe can't handle that section. And it changes every year because the cars obviously evolve. So that corner might not be a problem next year.
Speaking of car evolution,
people are pitting now, which is rare in a sprint race, only because it was wet and now it's drying out. So we'll see if this creates.
Do they get a tire allotment, extra tire allotment when there's a sprint?
Yes,
they don't have to use. They do.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Look how tiny these cars actually are.
They're actually quite big, JB.
Are they? They look tiny.
No, they're. I can't remember the length, but I was like shocked at how long they are. They're quite long.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Wow, that pit was 2 seconds flat.
It's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah. Just think about that for a second. In 2 seconds.
You think about it for 1 second, and that's half a pit stop.
That's half a pit stop. I can't even unzip my pants that fast.
No, and no one's asking you to. So.
Well, you don't know that.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Next question.
Norris is up on the backside of Piastri, so maybe here this would be amazing. Norris goes for a pass.
Maybe he'll open his pants.
Yeah, and they'll crash. That's the controversy we need.
I don't have any other questions.
Well, you could ask me a question about anything. Proportional representation. How about that? But I don't want to get into politics, but I still can't believe that many people voted Conservative in the Canada election. I still can't believe it.
Well, and even more voted Conservative for a Liberal. We have the Conservatives got the biggest vote share they've ever got, right? In decades or whatever. Yeah. And more people voted for the most conservative Liberal leader ever.
Yeah.
Or in recent memory.
Yeah.
So Pierre Poilievre's Conservative, and so is what's his nuts?
Watch this. Something happened in the pits and I missed it.
Oh,
I love it. The sprint race is proving me wrong as I speak. It's still boring.
Was that Red Bull on Red Bull?
No.
Did they run into each other?
No, I think Antonelli or something. Oh boy.
I wish we could hear the commentary.
Me too.
That'd be helpful.
But you know what?
Are we ever going to figure this out?
Oh no. Carlos is having a terrible season.
He is.
He's just so nice and charming.
So handsome.
Is Max proof that bad guys win?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, look, Piastri's gone off the track.
But he's not just bad.
He's lost time.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure he'll
give it back.
Argue that Lando pushed him off.
Yeah. He was too close behind me. He pushed me off.
He had too much of my dirty air.
Yeah.
You know, it's not simply lovely.
He's Australian.
I was doing Max.
And Oscar kind of talks like this.
Oh, that wasn't
kind of like
Yeah, he doesn't have a. He doesn't have a. That's really good. He doesn't have a strong Australian accent.
Yeah, the
Lando.
race was
Or, I mean,
over.
Oscar.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's there, but not really. You know, and his
He's
lips,
not like he
his
going.
his lips don't move.
He's had the same girlfriend since school, since high school.
He's got to switch that up. You're a Formula One race car driver.
He's got to land that international pussy
So-
while he can.
Does Lando Norris not pit? He's got 4 laps to go, and if the slicks are really good right now, they could be worth up to 3 seconds a lap. So, and Piastri,
Explain all that. He's on his slicks.
Norris is on intermediates. There's 4 laps left. He's got a 20-second lead over Piastri. There is a world.
Intermediates are different than mediums. They're rain. They're in between what? Hard and
full
soft.
wets. There's full wets. There's intermediates, and then slicks. So Norris should just stay out and roll the dice. If I was him.
Wait a minute. I thought they were hard, medium, and soft.
That's when you get into the slick category.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So he's still on wet tires.
He's on intermediate wet tires. Yes.
Intermediate wet tires.
And what the thing is they'll overheat and he'll lose time, whereas the slicks will heat up and gain time. So Hamilton is proof of that. Like Hamilton's 6 seconds behind Piastri. Piastri's already taken a second out of Norris's lead in 1 lap. So there's a world where Piastri could take out 5. Oh, don't pit him. Don't pit him. They're pitting him. That's a mistake.
They're pitting Norris?
Yeah, and they fucked it up again. That's a mistake. He should have stayed out. And I bet you that's papaya rules.
Oh, that's so annoying.
I bet you that's papaya rules. He should have stayed out because even if he lost the oh, now there's a red flag, a yellow flag. I told you there'd be another one. I've been totally wrong. Sprint races are really exciting.
Oh, who's that?
A loser.
Alonso.
And I just said he was amazing. Now I'm saying he's a loser. You know what? I should control Formula One. I know exactly what to do. Oh, JB, the world of
I like how this is almost over too. And here comes the fastest Aston Martin on the track.
Yeah. You probably love sprint races because they're over fast.
Well, I mean, no. I'm getting into sprints because once you start watching F1, you want more of it. And then when they take a week off or whatever, then you're kind of missing it.
Yeah.
And then you move from missing it to not missing it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, I haven't been listening to F1 podcasts because I kind of forgot about it because there's all this other stuff. Because really, I started watching Mobland, and then that was only 5 episodes long. And then I was like, what? Only 5 episodes? I want more. I want more Tom Hardy in a pea coat.
So you
on
watch
the edge of the Thames. Have you seen Mobland?
I don't
on
watch.
Crave.
JB.
Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
I have really lost most interest in most
things. You're depressed.
No,
you're depressed.
No, I'm not depressed. Hey.
Yeah, you're depressed. No, as your therapist, you're depressed.
I'm not. Feeling great. No, I think what it is I find most TV predictable. I find most TV and film kind of like shot the same way, you know. And now this is obviously I'm an old person, but I miss. I don't know if you can hear that crazy person. That's my wife in the background.
Yeah.
Coen brothers, when they make a movie, it's simply shot and the writing is great and the actors are amazing. And that's what I mean. Now everything I watch, we watched White Lotus season 3, episode 1. And I'm I like it. But I'm not like, oh, this is magnificent cinematography.
Yeah.
Incredible
I couldn't get out of
around.
episode 1. I couldn't get out of episode 1. Walton Goggins smoking outside. This is a problem. I think we've seen this a million times before, haven't we? And then the annoying American family who won't give their phones up. It was so dull right off the top. And I love that Mike White. Like Enlightened with Laura Dern was, well, it was enlightened. What are we doing? Are we almost are we almost done with this sprint race that was actually quite exciting because there were so many safety cars?
Well, it's only because it was wet. If it wasn't wet, the race would have finished the way it was. So,
but it was wet, so it was good.
Yes, you're right. Oh God, I hate you.
You're so negative.
Oh, I'm not actually, though. I'm really quite positive about everything that's going on.
Well, at least you're humble about your delusion.
What are you talking about? I'm building a business. It's going okay. It's going to get better. It's like, you know,
How did we get to this? I was just talking about how you were bragging about how.
I'm saying
how you're.
I'm being positive and optimistic.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I probably get to have a mezcal later today.
What's a mezcal?
You know what mezcal is? It's
mezcal.
Yeah.
I thought you said biscal.
I'll have one of those too. So it looks like this race is going to end like this. And now what happens if there's papaya rules where they say, well, Piastri was leading and there was, you know, it's not there. So let Piastri by.
I thought they were done with the papaya rules.
No.
It was so annoying.
Oh, hang on. I got to see.
Don't give it away. Remember, you're 7 seconds ahead of me.
You know what? I don't need to know. I can predict Formula One. You technically can't give a position back under a safety car anyways. You're not allowed to. That would be cheating. So it has to be under a regular lap. So if it ends like this, Lando will be very happy. I think that would be great for Lando. He could use a bit of positivity. However, I have a feeling that would motivate Piastri for the race, and Piastri could win. Hamilton's in third right now. That's not bad.
Stroll is in the points for the second time this year?
No, third.
Third time.
Yeah, and poor Antonelli. He got
Lawson
screwed.
For the first time.
Antonelli got screwed.
Yeah, Antonelli got screwed.
Well, I think Verstappen hit him in the pit lane is what I think happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I wonder what Max is going to say about that. He's probably going to say, you're not allowed to say anything, so I'm just going to go have a gin and tonic on my boat.
Yeah. Well, he's just had a kid. He's a dad now. So do you think he's going to become like more fatherly in Formula One?
No. No, a cheetah doesn't change their spots.
God, Max will never be on our show. He's never going to be on our show.
That's true. There's already reports that he refuses to change a nappy. That's what I heard. So, I mean, are you an engaged father or not?
I love it. Do you think F1? Do you think like F1 fathers have like an 8 diaper pit crew to change diapers for them, and they come in, the diapers are changed in like diaper changed in 2 seconds? That'd be cool. That's a good sketch.
That's a good, and there's your optimism shining through. You could make it fun. If you were a dad changing nappies, you could make it fun. 10-second time penalty for Verstappen.
Oh, that's
unsafe
amazing.
Relief.
I love it.
That is good.
He'll be upset about that because I don't know how you can't argue that one.
Suck it, Horner.
Yeah, another person hard to like.
Harder to like, yeah. Not a good liar. When you ask him about the sexting scandal.
Or not a good liar about the Abu Dhabi 2021 scandal. Like,
okay.
Well, yeah, like a perfect example. Like,
I got to hear more about that if I'm allowed, but you say it's old news.
It is. No one wants to hear us talk about that anymore. They want to.
Sure. I want to talk about all the scandals. That's the most interesting thing about F1.
Well, Flavio Briatore is back in the game, and get ready for a cheater because he.
But have you noticed he's gone?
But
have you noticed he's gone real quiet? And so has Dr. Helmut Marko. These guys were popping off in the beginning of the season. They were popping off on Drive to Survive. And then all of a sudden, Dr. Helmut Marko is on TV saying nice things about drivers. And all of a sudden, Flavio's taking a back seat and Ollie Oakes is getting time on camera. And he's a nice guy. And maybe it's because these egomaniacs, well, look at that rack. Maybe it's because these egomaniacs realize that popping off in front of a camera isn't always great for the team. Hello?
Thank you for watching the F1 Chatpod.
Good night.
This has been a pleasure. The safety car is ending on the last lap of the race, so this is how the race will end. JB has pointed out that popping off isn't positive for team management, or probably, maybe even, get ready for it, the sponsors going, can we have a little less swearing? Can we not have, racially charged comments from a 98-year-old Austrian? Maybe we could just pull that back a little bit. That's probably what's going on. I think money talks, JB. Money
I think you're
talks.
right.
And I haven't paid you.
And you owe me money. And look at this. Is this so it's a safety car ending? Explain this. This is when Aston Martin gets their best result.
Yeah. So they asked Fernando Alonso, hey, Stroll's in the points. Can you crash your car? Which is what Flavio Briatore did.
The safety car is going to cross the... This is the only time Aston Martin is going to cross the line first.
Yeah. JB, you're on another level compared to me.
I still got it sometime.
You're sharp. I'm more dull.
I'm excited about our shows. Wait, are we going to be doing shows together in October?
I won't be there for that run. I have to stay out here because we have another run of shows out here.
It's me, Tegan, and Denise.
Yeah, you're gonna have a blast.
Oh, that'll be fun.
But there's more shows coming.
Three of us.
Yeah, there's gonna be more shows coming. Don't worry.
Well, let's just see. Way to go, Lando. Let's just see if you want me after 3 shows.
No, you'll be fine. Here's something that I think I'm going to plan for 2026, and you might be integral to this because you might have more intel. So I was talking to a few local theaters. This is business talk, F1 Chatpod. This is how businesses happen.
Business,
entrepreneurial geniosity is happening. Geniosity. I can coin that just like if Verstappen wanted to coin simply lovely.
Okay, continue.
Doing shows in cottage country in the summer. I spoke to a couple theaters and they're like, you might want to think about coming in the summer because we're super busy and there's a whole bunch of tourists and everyone leaves the city. And I was like, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
I was like, go, spring, fall, winter. That's when you go when people. But if you do it in the summer, I guess maybe
in the summer, go up to the Muskokas, go to the Kawarthas.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that's what I might try for 2026 is try like a 4-day run up in the Muskokas and hit a few. Do you know anyone who owns a cottage up there? I mean, I know Mark does, so we could maybe get a spot there.
Carruthers owns a cottage. Wait, why do you wait? You want to know who is up there so you can stay there or so you can...
Well, we're going to... So there's a couple thoughts. One is it's going to be very busy in the Muskoka. So getting hotel rooms and stuff is going to be very hard.
Oh, I see.
So if we know someone has a cottage, we can give them some money for staying there and make it a home base.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, not Carruthers because he's in MacTier and... It's closer to Perry Sound than the Muskokas. So
that's okay.
Well, he also doesn't want. He's not interested in hosting.
You have no idea.
You people. Dirty actors.
I am convinced that most people would be more than happy to have me be a part of their life. Not for a long time, but for a short time. I bring interesting conversation.
I think it's a great idea. And as soon as you book those theaters, then I think accommodation worries can come after that. It's the theater people that will put you up. They can find people to billet you, can't they?
Yeah, maybe. But I like I'm going to bug Mark because Mark has a beautiful cottage and he let me stay rent free once when I moved to Toronto. So maybe he'll do the same.
Great. That's
JB,
a great
let's talk
idea.
about volume control.
About what?
Volume control.
Okay.
Let me give you a frame of reference. Okay. So you have a remote control, you have a television.
Yeah.
And you have volume control.
Okay.
I have now reached my limit of different channels and different commercials
Oh, yeah.
having different levels of volume. So let's just put,
this is the complaint department segment of our show.
Yeah, let's just think about this for a second. We have technology to do AI. I don't know, right? Everyone says AI is going to change everything. Can we just have AI in my TV to turn the volume up and down for me to keep it at the decibel level that I prefer? And why am I doing it?
I don't know.
I can't even see. You can't even see the up and down.
No, you can't read it. It's too small. It's so annoying. Everything's so annoying. The volume thing. Do you notice, at least on podcasts, the volume of the ads skyrockets?
Yes.
And they do that on purpose.
It's ridiculous.
And so you're not going to get anyone. They know everybody skips. They're trying to they're trying to make advertising work.
How come this is how you make advertising work? Have a compelling ad, or better yet, associate yourself, which is what they kind of do in sports, right? Like they sponsor a Formula One car, I'm associated with something that people find exciting. So art, movies, like theater, like help like get in the face of regular people in a nice way. I don't need to see who watches commercials on TV. Nobody does.
Who watches TV?
So you should sponsor art festivals, jazz festivals, like anyway, that's it. That all started with volume control, which I didn't have today. I yelled a lot today. I got excited.
You got excited during what you thought was going to be a boring race, so that's good.
You couldn't ask for a better kick in the nuts for me in that. When was the last time you got kicked in the nuts?
I think I sat on them recently.
Yeah.
And that it's not a kick, but man, that's an eye opener.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of having them reduced.
You can have them cinched.
Yeah, I'm going to get them cinched because they're down near my knees.
Yeah. Like, I'm surprised there's cream for your face to get rid of wrinkles. There should be like a cream so your scrotum tightens.
Do you remember when you were younger, your scrotum moved like an octopus?
Oh, yeah.
The skin moved?
Still does.
Oh, mine stopped.
Oh, it's too bad.
Well, I am a bit older than you. Maybe it's coming for you. 53.
Oh, you're 2 years older than me.
Your scrotum still moves?
Well, I'll go check in a minute.
Yeah. I remember a girlfriend looking at it going, look, it moves like an octopus. And I never looked into it, but I thought, is that for cooling? Is that cooling? Where it moves back and forth?
I'm an expert on Formula One. I'm not an expert on biology. I
should be an expert on balls.
Okay. Well, all I know is the reason why I brought it up was because I was thinking about, like, there was a video where this is the Facebook or whatever, it was a reel or something, where people would run down a pole and it was slick and there was water beneath it. And you had to try and get to the end of the pole, but it was slick and people kept falling on there.
Was it a Japanese game show?
No, I think it was like this. I don't know what it was. It was just some party town in Thailand. I don't know. And people just kept like falling on there. And I was like, God, like what? Like, I remember that pain. So I wouldn't want to create the possibility of it again. But people were. So what does that say about humans? Like, you're inviting the possibility of falling on your testicles on a hard log.
I think we're idiots, or many of us are idiots. Like, what if you were half your age and you were offered $100,000, a chance at $100,000? Would you do that? You're a former elite athlete. I bet you'd look at that grease pole and think, I can fucking manage that. Look at all these fat assholes. I'll do it.
Thank you for saying I'm a former elite athlete. I appreciate that.
Well, I've never been one.
So I can.
You've got a lot of credibilities. You got a lot of bona fides behind you.
Bona fides. I'm bona fide. You mean?
Yeah, you're a former internet sensation, former elite athlete.
Still can't pay rent.
Former young person. Formerly happy.
I'm an expert on what former happiness was about. JB, what are you talking about? This is like, come on! I just got to spend an hour and 4 minutes with you. It started off with frustration with technology, ended with frustration with technology. I can't.
What are you going to do now? How are you going to put a cherry on top of this Sunday? This shit Sunday.
Here's what I need to do. I need to take my wife. She's doing some more training.
Training for what?
Pilates and.
Oh yeah, Pilates instruction.
Yeah, and I need to start taking training with her so I can take care of my body, because if I'm going to live to 80, I want to make sure I can move, because I don't want to not be able to move. I'll really
got to keep moving.
So I got to get her to her training. That's what I got to do. And then I got a comedy
because
show.
She knows how to drive now.
Yeah, but I need the car to go do a show tonight. She's not.
Where are you going to do that at?
Port Moody.
Oh, that sounds fun. How many people are coming?
It's a little soft tonight, so about 100. So we were hoping to get closer to 2. So we're a little, but we did go up against a Jokers Canada Jokers Canada. They were there the week before. It's a smaller market, and those guys, and I got to hand it to Jokers Canada. I believe his name is Aaron. Applaud the ambition, the perseverance.
What is Jokers
and the hard
Canada?
Work. It's a touring stand-up show, and it's just amazing when you get to watch, like, because he kind of started around when we started, and he's just really managed to steer the ship correctly, and it's pretty awesome. Like,
what's that crackling sound? Your mic keeps crackling when you move.
Oh, well, I heard might be just a loose thing.
Now it's gone. Well, good luck to you. You guys are doing the Lord's work out there. You're bringing the mirth.
Yeah, we're bringing
and
laughter.
You're still doing it. You're hustling. You and Denise are really giving her.
Don't have a choice.
And you don't have a choice. Yeah. But I mean, like, there's plenty of ways to respond to a compliment.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't mean to tell you how to live.
No, I don't mind. I needed guidance, to be honest. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm short-tempered, overly optimistic at times. I shouldn't be.
Yeah. Keep going.
No, I should stop there, because otherwise the podcast will go for another 3-4 hours.
That's true. I'm going to go, I think I have to go grocery shopping. I'm going to make some burritos. My children just took themselves off to a restaurant for lunch with their friends.
Sorry? They just decided they're going out for a dinner?
They found this new place, this cafe. They love it. So they just leave now and walk over there. And I mean, this is after, let me just set the stage. This is after years of them proving to be rather useless. And now they're, they
don't watch this podcast.
No, but they're nearby. They could be nearby. Now, when they show independence and autonomy, it's like, wow, I didn't fuck it up entirely.
No, this
is amazing.
You are a good dad. I know, I guarantee it. I've seen it in action. You're a good dad.
All right, thanks, pal. When should we do another one of these?
Well, so next Saturday I have to. It's north. I could do Saturday, next Saturday morning, 100%.
A preview for whatever the next race is.
There's so many races now that it's like popcorn.
It doesn't matter.
It's endless. The bottom is never reached.
Nothing matters. We're all ants.
Moving shit around.
And we're going to die.
And someone's going to step on us. Who's it going to be?
And Jen Darbelet died. An old friend from Calgary whom I hadn't seen in years. But do you subscribe to Bruce Horak's newsletter?
No.
You know Bruce?
I know Bruce, but I don't.
You know Bruce. His newsletter, he wrote this sweet, sweet thing to Jen. I think they were old boyfriend, girlfriend. I think, if I have that right. It was just so nice about them being young and them meeting and them taking a train across the country and them going to New York and backpack in London. And then she just gets mowed down by a crazy person in Vancouver at a Filipino street festival. I mean, 2 kids, Noel, her husband.
It's, I mean, it sounds whatever cliche to say no words, but that's really, you're just like,
no, I think the words are do stuff, make art, Make
Yeah.
art and
Well,
break
that's what-
bread with people you love.
Yeah, Noel. I went to the vigil and
How was that?
moving.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Was Noel there?
Yeah. And he basically literally said exactly what you were saying.
Did he really?
Yeah, just don't wait for these times. I'm not going to get it quite right because I was, rather upset, as
Yeah.
everybody was. And, don't wait for these times to get together with people that you love, basically.
Yeah.
Do stuff and be with those that you care about. So, another reminder to do things. Get up,
Make stuff
do things,
together.
Yeah, exactly. So, I wasn't expecting to talk about that at the end of a podcast, but
Yeah. Well, I
but I'm
mean,
glad we
this
did.
isn't just F1. This is the chat pod.
That's
It's
right.
F1, but it's also chat.
That's
and
right.
It's pod.
Yeah. The F1 stands for formula. The F1 stands for friends.
The F1 stands for friends first.
Yep.
Or food.
Funny.
Food first.
Funny.
Funny.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. Because we're gay paws.
Yeah.
Fucking. Because we're sex paws.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. What else? Fried, because we like fried food.
Oh, yeah. But we
Right?
got to watch our weight. We got to watch it because we're
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, I know. There's this area.
I know.
There's just one spot. It's like a
I
little bit on
wake
the
up.
hips, a little bit on the hips, and a little bit like just below my belly button.
Yeah, I wake up and I look in the mirror and I go, wow, you look great. And then I'll eat a grape and suddenly I'm an Ethiopian child from the 80s World Vision Canada commercials.
Oh.
Have you noticed that? Like you could just eat one meal and it just pops out like
I don't know if it's one meal for me, but I was like I was on a great stretch of eating right and exercising, and I was like, okay, if I can just keep this up. But then something happened. Like for like a week and a half, I wasn't exercising, and I probably had a few too many beers, and I was like, I guess I'll have that burger. And then I'm like, oh,
yeah,
what happened? And I got to get rid of this now.
yeah.
So I should also.
And
do
it's
some
really
push-ups.
hard. Like be kind to yourself because for men losing this type of fat where it is here, it's really hard. Like you have to stop eating carbs.
That means bread, right?
Yeah, this is what I did. This is what my doctor told me, Milky. This is how you do it. Hold on. No. Don't spiral. Don't downward spiral. Just eat carbs once a day. That's what I did. So you go protein veg in the morning, protein veg at lunch, and then dinner time, eat whatever you want. Eat a big bowl of pasta.
Yeah, I would go the other way around. And
Okay. There you go. You're making it your own.
So, because like what I do notice, if I don't eat after 6,
Yeah, I know.
if I'm consistently eating like 6 o'clock and not eating anything until the next morning, like
I know.
at 8 a.m., almost it's good. I sleep better.
Feels
everything.
so good. Me too.
So I like that's what the mistake is when I'm like, oh, I work till 7 o'clock or 7:30. I'll make something dinner, and then all of a sudden and then I don't.
Well,
sleep good.
it's real tricky for you because you got night hours.
Yeah.
There's the crinkle sound again. Whatever you just did.
It's, who knows? That's probably we should just end it.
Okay, bye.
Okay, we'll talk to you in a bit. Bye.
Yeah, you bet.